Coming up on Tekzilla, drive shredding delivered to your doorstep, building the cupcake 3D. It's easy to print your own parts. Where did my files go? Stuff to do with that old PDA, and a speed round of Twitter questions. So wipe the pastrami grease off your hands and hit the play button, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by Gamefly. Go to gamefly.com/Tekzilla for your free trial membership. Netflix. Go to netflix.com/Tekzilla to get a free trial membership. And Jack Threads. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner, tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech, or the online shoe shopping experience that means more to me than air itself, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down someone who does. I brazenly assume Zappos.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And Piper Lime.
Ooh.
Yes.
Is their customer service as amazing as the Zappos customer service
No, I don't think anyone
experience?
can compare to the Zappos customer service experience.
Yeah.
They've got it down to a science, people. Man, they're good. They are good. Woo boy. I love shoes.
Sorry, I'm sitting there like, I know where the damn... This is starting to sound like an episode of Sex and the City, actually. Where she's looking at like the shelf of Manolo.
No, I cannot. I do not wear any Manolos. They're
Right.
a little too skyscrapery for me. I can handle like a 3.5 inch heel. That's about tops for me. Ooh. Yeah, anything over that, and I'm like...
That's a really
like one of those
image.
like those boards that you used to stand on as a kid to
The
try to
balance
balance
boards?
on with the ball in the middle, and you would stand and go like...
Indo boards, balance.
That's me on a pair of 5-inch heels.
Good to know.
But they look hot.
As long as Veronica doesn't move.
Right.
Western Digital buying Hitachi Global Storage Technologies means Western Digital is now 50% of the $36 billion worldwide hard drive market. Seagate comes in second with something like 30%. The only other major players now are Samsung and Toshiba, except for the whole SSD thing. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see where solid-state drives push the industry, which has been... I think there's... One of the articles I read, I think Boston.com or somebody said there was like 80 hard drive manufacturers in the mid-'80s. I can remember like 20.
Wow.
You know, from the mid-'90s.
80?
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. You know, there's a bit of a boom when that whole thing comes
Well, it's
into
like
its own,
Seagate
and
bought
then they get consolidated.
It's crazy. Like Toshiba bought Fujitsu. You know, Seagate bought Maxtor, and they've been buying for a couple decades, or just dying off. But it's kind of crazy. I wonder if like Western Digital or Seagate is now going to buy somebody like OCZ or one of the other major memory manufacturers, so they have a really huge name in.
I
in
like Western
SSD
Digital,
drives.
so I'm kind of okay with the idea.
It's not a bad idea.
If I had to pick a company that I would want to continue growing and making good products, Tom Merritt disagrees with me. He's not a big WD fan.
He's a Seagate man all the way.
I'm not sure what he is exactly. Who knows? Anyway, Google Maps gets traffic rerouting. You can reroute around traffic jams, at least if you're on Android, that is. Seriously, start your turn-by-turn navigation and, well, do nothing. Google says you don't have to do anything to be routed around traffic. Just start navigation like you normally would, either from the navigation app or from within Google Maps. When is this coming to iOS? Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, right about the time they get turn-by-turn navigation rolling on iOS.
Yes, there's more on the Google Maps navigation beta at googleblog.blogspot.com. It's pretty cool that it uses current and historical traffic data, at least if it works. If it sends you to like the end of some jetty in the middle of like SF Bay, that would be a problem.
Have you ever corrected a wrong entry in Google Maps?
What do you mean, like on the PC or on my phone?
Like, well, when you, for example, I had to go to a junkyard in Richmond,
Yeah.
California, which is outside of the home of my friends Darren and David, is an enormously scary place to drive through. And the junkyard entrance has gone from this side of the block to this side of the block.
Oh.
And I've run into this in the past where they either had the wrong location for something or completely wrong. You can actually go in and write. I actually do a segment on this where you basically show how to email Google Maps to correct bad information.
That's great.
Because it's kind of funny because turns out you can actually email someone and contact them and be like, yeah, your data's wrong.
Well, it's kind of smart for them to go out and make their own maps and their own locations for everything, and then turn to the hive mind for any live updating they need to do. Because while they still have to go around in the cars, of course, they're going to need more information from people actually out there in the world, and we're using it more than anyone, so it makes perfect sense.
I hate the feeling when you're like driving like this is someone's driveway.
Yeah.
And they don't want me here.
Not the local Target.
Skype now getting advertising, and before you panic, we're not talking about giant pop-up eye blaster ads mid-video call. Press here to continue your video call. Nope. They're just putting them on the home tab in Skype.
I'm okay with that, I guess.
Big okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
How
I'd like them
about
to stay in business, so
That would be nice.
I use them regularly. Oh, and in I knew that news, CrunchGear says technology has destroyed sleep. Not because of, say, 20-hour Steam sessions, mind you. No, the article cites the 2011 Sleep in America poll by the National Sleep Foundation. The press release sent out to promote the poll quotes Charles Schleicher, PhD, MD, Harvard Medical School, and Brigham and Women's Hospital. This study reveals that light-emitting screens are in heavy use within the pivotal hour before sleep. Invasion of such alerting technologies into the bedroom may contribute to the high proportion of respondents who reported that they routinely get less sleep than they need. Yeah, that's all of us, I would probably have to say, although you have a small child, so that adds an extra layer to the difficulty.
I'm usually too exhausted. Like an hour of playing a video game is not going to do much for me because I'm so exhausted at this point.
Oh, I get totally amped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also quotes Michael Gradisar, PhD, Flinders University, Australia. His research says that the idea it's better to go passive with your bedtime routine with, say, TV or music or perhaps reading, something less disruptive than activities with interactive properties like video games, cell phones, and of course the internet, which may affect the brain differently. Yeah, did I mention
Yes.
on this? I mean, even just iPadding before bed is going to crank up your brain cycles a little bit more than just
Facebook before bed, possibly the worst thing you can do.
You don't want to think about ex-boyfriends and who they're
He married her?
Exactly. Their kids are ugly or, whatever. I mean, the general rule of thumb seems to be like turn off the internet and your phone like an hour before you decide to hit the hay.
Yes.
That's the best course of action. I've been trying to do that myself and at least reading a little bit, but the problem is all the books I've been reading lately, namely like Joe Abercrombie, like they're all super violent and super like wars and battles and people getting their eyes gouged out, and I'm like, this is not good, relaxing reading.
Plus there's the panicked kicking and threatening of anybody who's in the room. Did you actually once pitch a cat across the room, I heard?
What? No.
Feral attack cat?
I have no idea. There's no cats allowed in the bedroom, no.
Let's get our questions on.
Yes, Barry writes in, Dear Mr. Norton, I have used your security tools for a number of years, but have recently changed to Microsoft Security Essentials. Sorry for that, but still love this podcast and the work you do at Revision 3. I have 20 hard drives that I would like to physically shred. Do you know of a service that will do the job and securely? Thanks, Barry. I never knew you were that Norton.
No. Not only am I not that Norton, I am not related to that Norton, not even a little bit. So
Are you
feel
sure?
free, as far as we
Have
can.
you looked?
Unless it's somewhere back in the early 19th century before. As near as I can tell, my family came over in 1841.
Okay.
No, excuse me, 1811. No. I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
Unless there's some weird cousin that I don't know about from Indiana.
Gotcha.
In any case, if you've never seen a hard drive being shredded, I highly recommend searching YouTube for shredding hard drive. It's epic. Shredding is the ultimate assurance that the data on the drives is gone. There's just nothing left to recover from. There's a pile of scrap and dust and shredded rent metal. We did an entire episode of System on destroying hard drive platters. It's really the ultimate way to make sure nobody ever accesses the data off an old drive.
Wow, yeah, cracking open 20 drives and torching, grinding, or beating the platters with a hammer would take forever, although it would be a really fun way to spend your time. Degaussing is pretty fast, but the machines are expensive. Some folks have had some success running neodymium magnets in a circle over the platter for like 30 seconds. And I think we've shown that off on the show before too. And while we love any excuse to contemplate buying dangerously strong magnets at kjmagnetics.com.
It's a dangerous website.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, actually. You don't really need to get a certificate of destruction when you go DIY, much less a auditable chain of custody that ends with a pile of ingots.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Basically, bringing this back to shredding, in Barry's original question, companies like Data Killers, PC Recycler, Shred-it, Level 6 Shredding, and probably dozens or hundreds of others offer drive shredding, even sending a shredding truck to your office.
Badass.
Yeah, or doing a pickup in a local city on a set schedule. So I found a company that basically does data destruction across a bunch of relatively rural cities in northern Nevada. So if you can get data destruction in Elko, Nevada, you can probably get it wherever you live. I even found one, harddriveshredding.net, that lets you send your drives in like FedEx or whatever your preferred, make it signable, so there's your data chain. But check your local listings, and if there are any suggestions out there for data destruction, especially from people who work at three-letter agencies or in the military, we'd love to hear them at Tekzilla at revision3.com.
Harddriveshedding.awesome.
Yes.
.com.
Those I want one of those machines, just, cause. Gamefly.com. If you ain't seen it, it's the largest video game rental service on the internet. We're talking about 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds and plans, starting just $15.95 a month. That means you can rent 1 to 4 games at a time, keep them for as long as you like. No late fees, no due dates. Take forever to finish playing Zelda. They don't care. And you know what? Shipping's always free to your house. And when you're done, put the game in the envelope, send it back. Gamefly is going to send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, just click Keep It on the Gamefly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price, and Gamefly is even going to mail you the case and manuals free of charge. If you're a gamer, you should check this out, and because you're a Tekzilla fan, we got you a free 15-day trial. Just go to gamefly.com/Tekzilla. Gamefly.com/Tekzilla, score a free trial, and get all the games you're...
All right, it's time for a speed round. Speed round, baby. You ready?
Susan, stop hiccuping.
Don't hiccup. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Do we have any sugar? Do you guys have any sugar? No? Roger says I should punch you in the chest. That doesn't work.
And suddenly the hiccups are gone. The
oh,
fear
look how that works so
of the
well.
Belmont Death Punch.
All right, so speed round. Galfrida73 tweets, at Patrick Norton, just for the record, baby drool and iPhones are not a good mix, right? My 8-month-old son insists on open mouth kissing my 3GS. Yeah, you want to keep the iPhone away from the small teething creatures. I've seen what it did to Patrick's iPhone. It wasn't pretty.
No, it killed off. Half the screen no longer responded to touch.
Now, if only baby drool was antibacterial, you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
You could wipe the baby over the counter to... That's just a horrible image.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let your baby teeth on the iPhone. It was an expensive move on my part. By the way, thanks to everybody that tweeted about the Optoma HD20, HD180 showing up again at sellout.woot again. I have one in the mail. I am now suffering screen search pains, although it looks like I'm going to buy a monoprice screen.
Nice.
We'll see how it goes.
We love monoprice.
Second, the unfortunately named @TechBoners tweets, ever notice the lacking volume control on the Apple TV 2? They force you to use another remote. You need to bust this scoop. It's like a Steve Martin line, man. Because busting the Apple TV volume control scoop is going to get us traction on Reddit and Dig.
No.
Sorry, dude. That's why I have a Harmony remote. One remote to rule them all, and in the darkness find them, because the Apple TV remote is an example of super minimalism. Because that's
too
the way
minimalist
Steve
for
likes
me.
it.
I also use the Harmony remote, and I like it very much. I think that the Harmony 1, right? It's the latest model. Yeah, that's the one we have.
Wasn't the latest model, but it's a fine model.
The one that I've been using for a while now, and you use as well.
I think I have an 890. I have like 3.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, is the Harmony one the rectangle one, or is the Harmony one the regular remote-looking one?
Harmony one's one of the stick remotes.
Yeah, then that's the one I have then. Okay. At Venezuela Dan tweeted, "Hey Tekzilla, in your 228 episode in the section of WP7, you can actually uninstall all apps up to and including proprietary carrier apps. Good to know." Mm-hmm. Was that one I was in?
I think so.
Oh. Oops. Yes, and then Kyle Paddock tweets, "Will Thunderbolt be better than USB 3? Will they make hard drives and flash drives for Thunderbolt?"
They're supposed to.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt does promise to do some really cool stuff that USB can't, because Thunderbolt's essentially an extension of the PCI Express bus. That's really cool. And it's all fluff and promises until the products are actually for sale somewhere.
That'll be the day, yes. We look forward to that day with great interest.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really cool. It's like bidirectional, 10 gigabits per second, dual channel, which means you could actually have like 20 per second up and down. It's awesome, just if it actually, any of this stuff ever ships.
Yes.
At Steven3X says, anyone check Task Manager before saying Firefox is a memory hog versus Chrome?
come on.
I count multiple instances of Chrome when I gave up. Actually, look, dude, I get it. Yeah, Chrome runs in multiple instances, but even once when I had 42 instances of Chrome open and 1 instance of Firefox, guess which one was consuming more when I gave up on Firefox a year ago? I am revisiting Firefox, but trust me, when I left for Chrome, Firefox was the resistive resource suck.
I can back that one fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Firefox is a huge resource hog. We all know that. It's pretty common knowledge at this point. It's going to be better for the next version, but
they promise.
They promise.
I wait with eager, bated breath.
Sorry, Steven3X. I know you're a regular viewer of the show. We appreciate your input, but can't back you up on this one. We'll triple check, but I stand by our comments. Donan Jean said, you should do a geocache of Tekzilla and Revision 3 stickers. That would be cool. Hey, guess what? Did that today.
Really?
Did that today. It's not our own geocache, and perhaps we will actually make one of our own geocaches that has a ton of Revision 3 swag in it. But if you find what is it called? Urban Fishing 1. It's near the Revision 3 offices. It has 2 stickers, 1 Tekzilla sticker and 1 Revision 3 sticker.
You could plant one in Austin while you're there for South by Southwest.
We could do that. I could do that. Yeah, that would be fun, actually.
We can like slowly start planting geocaches. I can do one there in Kenosha in the middle of
That's a good idea.
nowhere in Southern California, Central California.
So we found Urban Fishing today, and we stuck some stickers in there. So we were excited to do that. It was just on a whim too. I didn't even see his question. We were just doing it because we had been trying to find that cache for a while, and then when we finally found it, we're like, hey, this can actually fit some stickers in there. It's a small one. It's a small guy.
It's a little tiny cache.
All right, well, we have a question from Edgar. He writes in, recently I have heard you guys say that even when you delete a file, it is really still on the disk somewhere. So if my disk space is 300 megabytes free and I delete 2 gigabytes of files, of course removing them from the recycle bin too, and my free disk space now shows 2.3 gigabytes free, do I really have 2.3 gigabytes free, and will Windows work more efficiently by deleting the 2 gigabytes, or is it still only secretly working with 300 megabytes free for real? Thanks, Edgar in New Jersey. So yeah, when you dump that file from the recycle bin, it's dead to Windows, and that's pretty much the same for OS X. But that doesn't mean that it can't later be. It can still. I mean, you'd have to do like a 7-pass wipe to really clean off your hard drive.
Probably 3 passes.
But it's probably safe.
Generally speaking, right? When you hit the recycle bin and you empty the recycle bin, the thing inside of Windows that points to that file on the hard drive gets erased. So Windows no longer knows the file is there, and it rewrites files over there. One of the things that he was asking about was like, it seems that
space allocation kind of thing. Yeah.
The space allocation, it doesn't really impact sort of your page file. It's all managed inside of Windows itself. What it does do though is, especially if you don't regularly defrag your hard drive, sometimes just eliminating extra stuff on your hard drive will make it write more efficiently because it's not constantly backing space off of one section of the drive and onto others. But it generally, once you erase it, it's gone. Don't sweat it. And yeah, technically the file is still there, but Windows doesn't know it, and it just kind of writes right over those spots on the hard drive.
But those bits can still be recovered and put back together with the right kind of
hence the
software.
Shredding when you're getting rid of your machine.
I must be really indoctrinated in the Tekzilla way, because I'm like, 7-pass wipe is what you need immediately. You have to do a 7-pass wipe. That's the only way to be really secure. It's like, no, dude, 3 is fine. Don't worry about it.
Back up your data to multiple locations and wipe your drives with ridiculous.
I have 14 backup locations. 2 in a silo out in the middle of Kansas and 1 deep under the sea. Anyway.
If we ever lose data, we're going to be so heavily mocked.
I know. Yeah. But if the apocalypse ever comes and we still have our data, we'll be laughing at you. It's time now.
Get the electricity running.
Yeah, it's time now to thank one of our sponsors.
Netflix. If you haven't heard of Netflix, you're probably living somewhere where they don't actually have internet. Netflix delivers a movie directly to your home. We're talking about saving you time, money, and hassle. If you can sit on the couch and operate a remote control, you can experience the joy that is Netflix. We're talking about Well, if you're an unlimited member, instantly watch thousands of TV episodes and movies right on your PC, your Mac, or on your TV via a Netflix-ready device like the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Nintendo Wii, the Apple TV, the Roku. Plus, you can still get physical DVDs and Blu-rays by mail in a single business day. Watch as many movies as you want, anytime you want. You don't have to go to the box down by the mall and fight your way through a bunch of teenagers. No late fees, no due dates. And as a new member and Tekzilla viewer, you can get a free trial membership. Do yourself a favor. Go to netflix.com/Tekzilla and sign up now. And please use this URL so they know we sent you.
Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, the Mary Sue. Okay, ladies, it's time we get a website for us, by us, and all about the geeky things we love. The Mary Sue is a new blog dedicated to bringing women the geek news and discussion topics we're most interested in. Yes, we know there are other geek girl sites out there, but this one really does a great job combining news stories, smart editorial and opinion pieces, and stories highlighting women in the geek community. From posts like the top 10 women who secretly control the internet, to more general topics like the latest casting for your favorite new comic book movie, there's really something here for everyone, yes, even guys included. But primarily, the Mary Sue is a forum for women to talk about the geeky subjects they love without feeling inundated by booth babe posts or the hottest cosplayers from Comic-Con. So check it out today at themarysue.com.
Last week we had a chance to talk to Tested.com's Will Smith about the amazing DIY CNC machine, aka the Cupcake, he built using some mail order components and a lot of elbow grease. Let's check it out. A couple of weeks ago, Will Smith from Tested.com joined us to talk about Thunderbolt. He's back with a very fun project. We meant to have you on months ago to talk about this.
Well, it's been busy.
It's been busy.
Yeah.
You've been busy, we've been busy, we got you down here. This is actually the Cupcake CNC.
Yes.
Where'd the model go?
So it's right here. This is made by MakerBot Industries, or designed by MakerBot Industries. They put the plans out on the internet, but they also sell kits if you want to build it yourself.
It's essentially a sort of, is it a CNC mill or is it actually printing this plastic
It's
up?
printing. It's an additive process rather than carving it away. This is actually taking this ABS plastic, spitting it through a heating element, getting it up to the melting point, which is 220 degrees Celsius, very, very hot, and then spitting out little blobs onto this platform down here to make stuff like that and this knob and all sorts of other things.
Basically the idea you can print, you know, instead of having a big, expensive $15 million, $15,000 CNC mill, this is pretty crazy though, and it's kind of funny, right? Because it's like a pop together kit, like somebody's like build your own desktop holder from Cub Scouts, except it's a lot more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very reminiscent of the home stereo building craze that kind of happened. Yeah, Heathkit in the 70s. It's the same kind of thing. Basically, you buy, well, if you have access to a laser cutter, then you can carve everything out. You can buy the electronics and the motors and the metal bits separately. Right. Or you can just pay like $1,000 and get them to send you a whole kit. This is actually the older model. This is the Cupcake. Since I built this, they've introduced the Thing-O-Matic, which is a next generation, little bit higher resolution, a little bit easier to maintain kind of device, but the basic functionality is the same.
How long did it actually take you to build the Cupcake?
Hours, probably about 20 hours, spread out over 4 or 5 days, because I have a hard time reading instructions sometimes and made poor choices. But we actually have a time lapse.
I've heard about your problem with IKEA.
Well, you know. But you can see that there's a time lapse video up on Tested that shows like the whole process over the 4-day period, inclling the day that I had to wait for FedEx to bring the wire that I accidentally stripped that I wasn't supposed to strip.
What was the wiring the most painful part?
Well, the wiring, as you can tell, I did a really tight wiring job on this machine.
I've always admired your case builds. You're very precise on the wiring locations.
Well, when I first built this, it seemed like a good idea to tighten down all the cables, and I hadn't really appreciated how much it was going to move. And so then I had to quickly start
that
snipping.
Horrible straining noise as the motor's trying
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But yeah, I mean, the hardest part of the whole thing actually is the software. Once assembling it is more or less just following a bunch of instructions and spending some time. Getting the software configured and working properly at the time was really hard. Since then, they've improved that a lot. But it's still, you'll spend more time tweaking the software than actually doing the builds, I think.
When you say tweaking the software, is that like sort of calibrating the machine or actually just getting the stuff to run on your computer?
Well, so the software, getting the software to run, the software is called Replicator G. It's a relatively simple to use piece of software these days. Basically what it does, there's two things that it does. There's a SkyForge portion that takes whatever model you feed in, whether it's from Google SketchUp or something more advanced, and slices it into a bunch of horizontal slices, and then figures out how it's going to fill and support the interior and all that. Getting that stuff configured is incredibly complex. There's a basic set of default settings that work reasonably well, but you can dial in and get something that's much finer detail, better looking than even what I have right there. My machine's not as dialed in as, say, the MakerBot guys' machines themselves, obviously.
Well, they probably spent a lot more time.
Spend a little bit of time on it.
Well, I mean, is this a typical example? As you can see, when you talk about the resolution, you can kind of see there's big, jaggies, I think is the word that comes to mind. There's obviously big, thick layers of material that's been laid down. I mean, could you tweak some of that, or would you rather just spend the time sanding after the part is built?
If you want to smooth it out, you can actually dial it in better. This is a 0.5 millimeter nozzle, so that's how big the amount of plastic.
So that's a half a millimeter.
Half a millimeter.
Is the smallest. Wow.
But you can actually make it a little finer by smushing down and slowing down the feed rate and stuff like that. I haven't gotten into that much detail. The easier way to smooth things out is to dip them in acetone and then kind of give them a little rub down.
Smush the
Exactly. Exactly.
Cruel question.
Okay.
You built it. You had a lot of fun building it. You made a few models. Have you done anything with it since you initially got it configured and built?
We print something every week.
Really?
So Thingiverse.com is a sister site for MakerBot, and it contains literally thousands and thousands of user-submitted models. They're all Creative Commons, so you can download them. We pick a random one each week, print it out, and then post a time-lapse video. So if you want to see it in action, I'm sure you guys have some footage, but we also do that, like I said, every Friday.
What has been the most expensive part of this?
The most expensive? No, the ABS is cheap. It's $80 for 5 pounds.
Okay.
And
which must be like hundreds.
Yeah,
and hundreds of
that model was probably this much plastic, right? The most expensive part was probably all the little upgrades after I built it. So the Thingimatic contains the updated plastruder, which is the extruder part that we upgraded. It also contains a heated build platform, which we upgraded later, and then it also has a thing that makes it automated. So when it finishes the model, it'll just push the platform to the front of the machine and run a little conveyor belt that just runs it off. It dumps into a bin and then resets and goes back to the zero starting point all over again.
A whole bunch of tested logos will just pile up into the bin.
Exactly.
How much do you have tied up in it at this point?
Probably about $1,200,
okay. Which
is compared to a $25,000 or $30,000 professional grade CNC machine, it's very cheap. It's almost to the point that I would say if you have a kid or want to learn more about this kind of stuff, teach your kids about 3D modeling and building things, it's a pretty good tool for that. You're not going to design robots or cars or anything with this, but it's great for building things like cable clips.
You can mock up robots or cars with this. I mean, it's actually, I don't want to crack.
No,
you can just make another one. It's actually, ABS is really strong plastic, and this is like a 1/4 inch of ABS.
You're going to have a hard time breaking that with your hands, I think, Patrick.
This is a good thing.
Not a challenge.
Having recently run over a Pelican case and done cruel and unusual things. Pelican cases, like the small ones, do not like 7,000-pound vehicles.
Wow, that's what it took to break it.
It may take much less of a vehicle, but my truck weighs 7,000 pounds. So the iPhone survived. What's coming up? Obviously we have the print of the week.
Yeah.
What else is coming up on Tested?
We just do a ton of great how-tos every week. I mean, we're really about, both reviewing new stuff. We've posted Atrix and Zoom reviews.
But very hands-on.
Very hands-on.
From the initial condom video. The infamous initial
people, that still gets a ton of traffic. I mean, I don't know who's searching for condom and flips, but for whatever reason, Google loves that. So
Tested.com is the website. Will Smith is the man. People, take some time and go there. It is good stuff. Jack Threads. We all know most guys hate shopping for clothes. Look at me. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? You gotta leave the house, go to the store, look all over the place, find 1 or 2 things that are cool. If you're lucky, they even fit, if they even have it in the right size. That era, done. Now there's Jack Threads. It's a members-only online shopping club that does the dirty work for you and saves you a boatload of cash. Everyday Jack Threads serves up the hottest new indie brands at huge discount prices, like 80% off what you'd pay in the store. Stuff like Kid Robot, The Hundreds, and American Apparel for way less than you'll find it anywhere else. Now, Jack Threads is a private club, but Tekzilla's got the hookup for you. To get access to these awesome deals, do yourself a favor, go to jackthreads.com/TEK, and you'll get to skip the wait list and become a member right away. Oh, and did we mention that it's free to join? jackthreads.com/TEK, and you will instantly start saving up to 80% on clothes without even having to leave the house.
Last week, Giannis asked us for ideas with what to do with his collection of old but still totally functional PDAs. We put the call out to the Tekzilla audience to send us in some suggestions, and here's what you came up with.
Jack in Cornwall, the UK, wrote in, I use my old Windows Mobile PDA as a sat-nav running TomTom. It works perfectly. They also are a cheap way to have mobile internet anywhere as long as you have a good data plan. Mark D suggested something we've considered before. Yanni can sell them on Gazelle.com.
Yes.
Gazelle, of course, being one of our advertisers, but hey, you know what? Actually, I should check to see what they want for my iPad.
Oh yeah, take a look there. And Anusha emailed, many sites such as htcgeeks.com and xda-developers.com offer ROM mods for the older PDAs that will allow, in some cases, the use of the Android OS. Currently, I have a Dell Axim X51V with Windows Mobile 6.1 installed. It works great and has tens of thousands of apps, including modern browsers such as Opera Mobile. Since I live in the city, there's ample Wi-Fi hotspots, so all of the smartphone-like functionality I want is available on my X51V. And then Paul says, old Palm PDAs can be used as an external display using Palm Orb. And then Max chimes in with something similar for Pocket PC users. He writes, you can use Side Window for the Pocket PC that will turn an old Windows PDA into a mini monitor. The last version only supports WinXP though. I found a copy here. The company that made it appears to no longer have a website, so registering it might be a problem, but with a cradle, it's a handy item to have. Found anything yet?
It's calculating my offer.
calculating your
Oh,
offer.
it's gone up. $510 last week, $530 this week.
Nice.
Sebastian wrote in with several tools Giannis could use. In response to Giannis' video question on your last Tekzilla episode regarding what to do with old PDAs, I happily provide proof of what I've done with my old Dell Axim PDA, for example. With a little bit of software and some Insteon hardware, I turned it into my tiny home automation controller. I use it for PDA-controlled Christmas tree lights, PDA-controlled water sprinklers, and when your old smartphone also becomes dated, you can always mount it to your handlebars and use it as an advanced bike computer.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And finally, Lolly suggested 5 different ways to make use of those PDAs. He writes,
Hi everyone, just saw the show, loved it. I have a few suggestions for Giannis. Feel free to trim them out and include some, all, or none in your show. How about all of them? Okay, 1, Gazelle.com. I live in India and don't have anything similar. You have it, dude. Use it. Bathroom radio. I use my old phone, which has Wi-Fi, as an internet radio in my bathroom. And I'm not scared if its cheap DIY waterproofing doesn't work. Audio bug. This applies to any phone, not just PDAs, which has an active account. Set the phone to auto answer, disconnect the speaker from inside, black tape the display, camouflage a little, and voila!
remind me not to piss him off.
Yeah, that sounds a little scary, but okay. 4, remote control. Head over to Vectier.com. This is an awesome app with lots of customizations to control your PC or HTPC. Similar apps are available, paired with some IR devices, can make your phone a universal remote control. Awesome.
Finally.
That is, see, you don't even need a Harmony one. Finally, photo frame. If you're going to use it as a paperweight and the screen is good enough, make it a stylish one.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's on the small side.
Yet another way I can bore friends with pictures of my child.
There you go. Perfect. Thanks to everyone that wrote in. You've been a big help, and I'm sure Giannis is hugely appreciative of all your suggestions. Charlie wrote in asking us, I'm a network administrator at a small company and was wondering what kind of certifications you would recommend to someone starting out in this industry. Over the years, I've picked up lots of general knowledge from hands-on experience building rigs and maintaining networks as an amateur consumer of all things tech-related. Recently, my boss signed me up for some online courses with a company called QuickCert to make me an official expert and master of all things binary. I have finished most of my online coursework to get my Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, MCSE, CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus certifications. Did I say that? CompTIA? I don't even know what that word means. That's one certification I'm not familiar with. Yeah. What other industry certs would you recommend I go for, and what kinds of jobs could I expect to get once I complete my current certifications? My network admin job only requires that I check in with the office once a week. That's awesome. And I was thinking about supplementing my income with another part-time tech job. Charlie in Pasadena.
Funny, I know someone in Pasadena who I assume is not this person under an assumed name.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I bring up this person who shall remain nameless because he managed to work his way into a high-level network security job with American Express without actually having any official certifications or a degree in the field. which is probably more about the nature of many of my friends who work in
Yeah.
IT, is that they've all sort of done a lot of the work and then found themselves with the responsibility and didn't actually have certifications that way. So I've heard people go way back and forth in it. People who are like IT professionals, CTOs, whether they either wanted you to have tons and tons of experience, didn't really care about the certifications, or on the other hand, don't want to talk to you unless you have the right degree or certifications.
Yeah, interesting.
I think this is one to throw out to the incredibly sophisticated IT portion of the Tekzilla community, and ask you all to email us, tekzilla@revision3.com, with what you think are the most valuable certifications out there and what people just entering the industry should be doing if they want to be employed for a long time.
And I'm sure you will all write in and tell me what CompTIA means.
We could Google it,
We could Google it. Yeah.
but that would take the fun out of it.
Stupid, dumb Veronica. All right, well, how about a Facebook speed round?
Excuse me?
I said stupid, dumb Veronica.
No, I don't think
Doesn't
so.
know what that certification means.
Do you know how many certifications there are in the world?
I know.
I don't know what it means either. Am I stupid,
Yay!
dumb Patrick?
Sometimes. It's okay. We can be stupid, dumb Tekzillas together. Yeah, so Facebook speed round, you guys. Fire out questions to facebook.com/Tekzilla, or get your famous on by creating a video question, posting it to YouTube, and emailing the link to Tekzilla@revision3.com. Tell us how smart and wonderful you think we are, too. That always makes our day a little better.
It does.
It does.
Or email us, tekzilla@revision3.com. Tech help, product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we'll do it, but we need those emails. Don't be shy, send them into tekzilla@revision3.com.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Dorton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Tekzilla.